the glass. All right. Good morning, friends. It's really overcast here, and it kind of suits my mood. Yesterday it was really sunny, and I had lots of energy, and I wanted to be outside all day, which was great. I find that spending a lot of time in these four walls, which is interesting because before I started doing my classes and teaching and everything in this room, this was more of my own personal studio and my own space for my own practice. And so just shifting from having things be outside, you go somewhere to do your practice, or for me, or somewhere to teach. Now I'm doing all of my teaching here. And so there's both a more intimacy as far as allowing and letting folks into my space. And then I'm also finding there's a little bit less intimacy with myself for allowing myself to take time and do my own practice. So that's just I was thinking about this morning about some changes that are happening in my teaching community. Not seeing people face to face, and these changes are just, for me, something to be really aware of, and notice what my reaction is, and how to still hold this space for everyone else. All right. So speaking of all of these changes, I'm finding that I'm holding some stress in the middle of my back. So we're going to start with a folded up blanket. I've got a nice little square folded up blanket. And if you wanted to, you could grab a block for your head. We'll go ahead and start on our backs with that folded up blanket, and just take your time to find where it feels, where it's supportive enough for you, and that you've got some space here for the neck to soften. I'm going to slide my heels towards my hips and get some space at the low back, and look left and right. And then begin to settle down, using the out breath to soften. Taking a couple of nice deep sighs, telling the body that it's time to rest and transition. Great time to scan through the body. Notice on those exhales where you're continuing to hold tension. Maybe roll through the ankles and the wrists, the jaw, and come back to stillness. And another 5 mindful breaths. So it's a mindful practice. Becoming aware of the breath traveling into the body, the breath being held in the body, and aware of the breath exiting. Feeling the sensations that are created with an inhale, and the sensations created with the exhale. One more breath here. And sliding the heels to the hips, heel toe the feet as wide as the mat. Just let the knees travel left and right. And go pretty slowly, shifting your weight. A couple more. Once more each side at least. And then rolling off to one side. Go ahead and press yourself up. We'll just arrive on the side. Bringing the knees together and let the side waist drop down. And move that top block out of the way. I'm just going to do some work in the lifting and lowering with breath. So as you inhale, you're going to lift, press down into the floor as you lift through the sideways to reach the arm above the head, and then exhale, come down. Let the head travel with you. In the top arm, it's nice, smooth movements. I'm just getting some awakening in the side waist. Once more. Then go ahead and hug that right knee or that top knee into the chest. And we'll extend the lower leg. And then rotate so that the knee is up, kind of like you're in a version of tree pose. And then you're going to slide the foot down. We're going to roll up, rotate, and slide down. Just notice if you're putting some collapsing into the lower shoulder, and press down to keep the shoulder over the elbow. Switch directions with the rolling of your knee. Last one. And we'll slide the knees in, roll back onto your back. And let the head drop down so you've got a bit more lift in the chest. And we'll stay here for 5 breaths, opening up a little bit more across the collarbones. If this feels too high, of course, just bring it down a level or two. And heels to the hips, roll off to your second side. I'm going to scoot myself all the way around. Blanket under the side waist. Press down. Forearm first drop down into the side waist. So you're getting that stretch in the middle of the spine there. And then we'll inhale and exhale. For about 5 or 6. Maybe one more. Feel about even on both sides. Extend the legs, hug the top knee into the chest, rotate the foot towards the thigh, and then we'll go through our rolling tree pose. Could feel pretty good. It can be a little bit tiring on the hip going the other direction when you're ready. Once more. And then again, we'll get that nice big back stretch. Slide around. Support between the shoulder blades. The head drop back. 5 or so breaths here. If you wanted to, you could begin to reach the arms up and out a little bit more. And we'll draw the heels back to the hips. Roll off onto one side and press yourself up and around to all fours. You can move the blankie off to the side for now. Taking the knees rather wide and the toes to touch. We're gonna do a little cat-cow here with opposite breath, and I actually like to call it kitty cat, because I think I'm funny. But we're gonna inhale into the back and reach the hips off to the right. And then exhale, come forward to a little mini cow or calf pose. And then inhale, curl, reach the hips off to the left as you press back. And exhale, center. So we'll go back and forth. And we're using this opposite breath. The inhale, filling up between the shoulder blades. Reach. And exhale. Allow the belly button to drop down, open across the chest. Keep going. Starting to move a little bit more into the sideways. See if you can't press that breath off to the lung and the low back. Couple more each side. Once more. And then draw the knees together. You're going to reach the hips back, crawl the fingertips forward. Take the arms rather wide here and tent the fingertips of the hands. When you place them down, it feels not so great on the shoulder. I'm just going to curl in, supporting the spine. Let the head be heavy. Again, breathing, using the pressure of your inhale to create space between the shoulder blades, and exhale, soften. One more breath here. And we'll slide forward back to your all fours. Take the right arm out to the side and feed it underneath the gate of the left arm as you drop down to reaching under the bed or thread the needle pose. Let's take that top arm and stretch it, and then step the back foot, your left foot behind you. And we'll slide it off to the side so that you're finding a stretch along the inside of the leg. Keeping the awareness of breath, pushing between the shoulder blades, getting a good stretch. One more inhale and exhale. And then unwind yourself. Knees back together. And from here, you're going to slide the left elbow to meet the right. Curl the toes under and sit up into an eagle arm, toe curled under. And just move through the neck a little bit. Feeling the shoulder blades continue to slide down the back. Maybe look left and right. And of course, if you wanted a little twist, go ahead and twist. Draw some circles. Then we'll unlace the arms, slide back to your all fours. Flip the feet back over, left arm reaches, slide underneath. Right foot steps out into the side. So I'm pushing down into the knife edge of my extended leg. I can really feel that opening on the outside of the foot and the inside of the thigh. And then we'll bring the knee back underneath, elbows together, toes curled under, second side, eagle arms, pressing into the soles of the feet, moving through the torso as much as you'd like to, but try and slide the shoulder blades down the back. Hug the armpits. So we're getting a little lymphatic flush here too. We'll unlace the arms, slide back out to all fours, flip the feet over and sit on tops of the heels. We're going to give the tops of the feet a little bit of a stretch. So take the right hand to the right knee and draw the knee up towards the chest a couple of times. Just waking up the ankles. Switch sides. And then we'll do both knees at the same time. Squeeze the inner thighs, tend the fingertips, and draw the knees up to the chest, or towards the chest, or just place some pressure on the tops of the feet, wherever you are. Just squeeze the inner thighs together. And then if you wanted to, you could reach the arms above the head if that felt good. Or balancing hands together at prayer. Come on back down, back to your all fours, and we're going to step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. I'm going to turn so you can see, and then slide the knee in so that you're seated in a little squat, and I'll turn to the side. The foot right underneath the sits bone. And we'll just take a little twist to one side and then the other. And then you'll reach off towards the right. Switch and reach off towards the left. We'll place the hands in front, and we're going to add in a little of that cat-cow breath. Inhaling, press like you could push yourself up. We're going to inhale, and then exhale, come down. Just 5 of these. Inhale, curl, exhale. Last one. And then you'll plant the hands and slide the knees back underneath the hips. Inner thighs come to touch and sway the hips right and left. Second side, left foot to the outside of the left hand, slide the right knee forward. We're finding our little, what I'm learning is called a primal squat or a half squat. Take a twist in one direction and then the other. And then press off, sway through the spine, one direction and then the other. And we'll do our inhale and exhale. Last one. Come on forward, bring both knees back. And this time we'll take some big circles with the hips in one direction. Switch directions. And then slide the hands back to the knees. We're going to bring the legs around. Sitting on your rear, heel toe the feet a little bit wider, and we'll work through the hips. And do a little bit more hip mobility from here. We'll be using this essential shape. Next time you come off to one side, it doesn't really matter which side. You're going to press down into the shin. Press the hips up and lift up. Reach, come on down, switch sides, press into the shin, lift the hips, and reach. That feels like it's pretty okay. I'm going to add on. You're going to press into the shin, reach, and extend that back leg. Come on down. Switch, reach, extend. We'll just go once more. Each direction. And then come on back down. Take a little break for the hips. Extend the legs out in front. And interlace the fingers and just draw some figure eights in one direction. Switch directions. Take the hands to either side of the sideways, fingertips face forward, squeeze the shoulder blades together, just let the head drop back. Opening again across the chest. And then roll the chin down as you roll forward. Crawl the arms forward, flex the toes. Seated forward fold. We're going to assist the heels to the hips. And just look behind you. We're going to roll back and forth a couple of times. So I'm actually going to scoot forward. Heels to hips. Hug the knees into the chest. And just roll back and forth along the spine. If you wanted to, you could add into this extending the arms and coming up. So it gets a little bit more core work. About 5 more rolls. And then end up, where we're going to heel toe the feet wider. Bring the hands forward, swing the left foot back, press into the floor, and come up into your primal squat. From your primal squat, we're going to inhale, come forward, and then exhale, drop the hips down, swing the legs around, roll back, come forward, opposite foot plants, reach forward, lift, and roll back. So we're rolling back and forth between the primal squat sides. Just go once more each side. And this time we'll end on our backs. Hug the knees into the chest and take just a little break. You can roll the knees around. Switch directions. And we'll come back up to a seat. Okay. We're going to add in with our hip motions here. So So we'll start, roll off to one side. So I'm just gonna say roll off to the right. We're gonna use that coming forward that we've been using with the primal squat, except this time we're gonna come forward, curl the right toes under, and then move into Skandasana. I'll just take a moment to get there. I'll show you what I did again. I did both knees off to one side. Come forward, curl the right toes under, so they're underneath the sits bones. Slide the left leg out, and then maybe come up. We'll go back down. Unwind the way you came in. Second side. Press yourself forward. Curl the toes under. Walk yourself around to our Skandasana, maybe a little balance. Hands walk around. Bend the knee. And we're just going to go back and forth like that a couple of times. You're getting a lot of work through the hip. Forward. Curl the toes under. Walk yourself back. And then we'll add on. Next time you come off to the right, curl the toes under, slide the leg out, press up, and then for now we'll just crawl ourselves to the second side. Roll forward, drop the knees down, and then move all the way off, and then forward, curl the toes under, slide the leg out, shift, walk forward, and we're back down into our little knee shifts. Just a couple of those to get more mobility for moving the hip around the socket, where the torso moving around the leg rather than the leg moving around the torso. And then from here, heel to the feet wide, we're gonna find a little bit higher back bend with reverse tabletop. Plant the hands, push into the feet, lift the hips, shoulder blades squeeze together, head drops back. You can always take the hands a little bit wider. You can turn the fingertips out more. You want some more space. And then we'll drop the hips back down, extend the legs, and forward fold. Assist the heels to the hips, soles of the feet together, knees apart. Seated cat-cows. Find some more fluidity through the spine. And then keep the right foot in, extend the left leg, and we'll crawl the upper body towards the extended leg. Walk the hands up and just simply switch sides. and back up. Go ahead and move either just onto your bottom, or if you'd like to, you can sit on tops of the feet. We're gonna take a strap. If you don't have a strap, that's okay. If you do have the strap, bring the strap over a shoulder. I'm going to hold on to the strap underneath the armpit and then drop the head off towards the opposite side. This kind of keeps that lower shoulder where it is so it doesn't creep up. Or alternatively, you could take a hand to the head or take that bottom hand and smush it underneath the feet so that you're still locking the shoulder down. If you didn't have the strap, those would be some other options. And we'll roll the chin to the chest. Switch sides with your strap, or smush the hand underneath the feet or underneath the sits bone. Release. You have the strap. And extend the arms out. If you don't, you can still do it without. As you lift the arms up and down. And free those shoulders up. Notice if you have a tendency to squeeze the shoulder blades together here, see if you can keep them nice and neutral. Trying to keep the head neutral. Two more. And then once we're at the top, we'll tip off to one side and press into the floor to reach up through the side waist. And here we're going to fold forward. Walk the hands around or slide them. Press the left hand down and sweep up with that right arm. Lift yourself back up to center. We're going to do the same thing, second side. Come off to the left. Keep pressing down into the floor. You can have a little bend in that back elbow. Roll forward. Swing yourself around. And press to the floor, lift up. Push yourself back up. Take our strap down. And go ahead and roll onto your stomach. Place them right next to the dog. You can bend the knees and windshield wiper the legs back and forth. Extend the legs. We'll bring the right hand off to the side. And then inhale, slide the left hand forward, kind of at a 45-degree angle. Press into the floor, look up and behind you, and we'll stay with this side. You'll come back to neutral. Press and come back down on your exhale. Inhale, lift, exhale. Come down. Looking for the heels behind you. And then just switch sides. Only coming up so high that you're not getting a pinch in the low back. Last one. And down. We're going to release the middle of the back now. We've gotten some warmth and some heat going. Bring one elbow towards the midline of the mat, and then you're going to cross the second elbow over. Palms face down. And wiggle yourself forward, letting the head hang. The elbows are stacked. Coming forward as much as you can. You can always separate the arms a little bit, and we'll just let the head hang for about 5 or 6 breaths. And then walk yourself back. And we'll take that top arm, slide it underneath. If you need to arrange a little bit differently, go ahead. Wiggle yourself forward in 5 breaths. Crawl yourself back. We're going to separate the arms and take a nice deep child's pose with the knees wide. Toes come to touch. Now would be a great time to take your blanket that we had folded up and place it right underneath the chest. Give some support for the back. You stack the hands and come forward. Feel free to breathe out through the mouth. Big inhales and exhales. Inhale to press yourself up. And we'll swing the legs around. You're more than welcome to lay on your back for another 10 or so minutes. Or we'll end here. Draw some circles with the nose in one direction. Switch directions. And let the chin drop down. Inhale, bring the arms above the head. Exhale, hands to heart center. Thanking yourself for taking time to have a little practice. Connecting with your breath in your body. A little bit of movement and a little bit of stillness. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you.